All right. So let me take you all to this beautiful team, okay? After looking at the form and shape of the team, you have to tell me what your comments are. So Milind is this guy. This guy leads a team of 6. They have a stand-up call every day, just like all of us. They decide on who's doing what. They do as decided, and they reach the targets as planned. So the team is so well aligned with each other that they have not faced a conflict ever, right? They're all very productive and very happy. So what are your comments?
It's false. It's not true.
Okay, some brutally honest person has joined my team. I'm so glad. Any other comments? No comments? You're all dumbstruck.
I think he's only one guy in that team.
Yes.
That's why
About
he's
to say
making
that.
some statements like
He is the manager, he is the resource. That's why he's
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. You're all right. Such teams can never be found.
Yep.
Even if we
someone
go
is
finding,
saying everything is going smooth,
Yeah.
we need to doubt.
such teams can never be found. I'm so glad that we are all in the brutal reality. And so that is going to make my life easy today, make my facilitation smoother. Thank you so much. So on that note, I welcome you all to this session on dealing with conflicting situations at workplace. So we are going to look at a few things about conflict. What is conflict? Is conflict good or is conflict bad? What are the types of conflicts and how can we actually make up our mind to deal with a conflict? What is a conflict made of? What are the various conflict resolution styles? All of that we're just going to see. So because I began with the word already, conflict, what is the meaning of conflict? Can I hear from all of you?
It's a disagreement or an argument.
No mutual agreement.
Super. Any other responses? That's it. All right. What you said is just bang on. It's 100% right. Dictionary says the same thing. It's an active disagreement between people with opposing opinions or principles. Nothing more than this. And people usually consider dispute to be conflict, but conflict leads to dispute. Conflict is not necessarily dispute. It's in our hands whether to lead it into a dispute or not, right? So that's conflict for us. So now that we said it's a disagreement, I have a few questions for all of you. So why do we have to disagree? Or do we have to disagree at all?
It's based on perception. Perception may differ from each person to person, right? So yeah, they will go for some perceptions or disagreement.
Right. So people disagree because they have different perceptions. Okay. What happens if we don't disagree?
Sometimes when we are disagreeing, that might lead to good ideas. Actually, some person, if we are not listening to others,
Awesome.
and everyone is agreeing on the same thing, maybe will not end up with good work.
Great, great. What you said is actually very, very correct. When you do not disagree, it will not lead to ideas. Everybody is just happy with whatever is being said. Awesome. And then this one is a little tricky question. When do people not disagree? It's not that always people come and openly, happily disagree, share their opinion, share their mind, not like that. So what stops people from disagreeing?
Not meeting their expectation.
Sometimes a lack of knowledge or lack of exposure on the
lack of
particular area.
Trust on the leader.
Awesome. Somebody.
Also,
yeah.
And also if the other side is talking all the facts and if they're aware of it, yeah.
Okay.
If somebody don't want to listen facts, they will listen.
Right. So people inside a meeting or inside a room tend to not disagree. Yes, knowledge, they don't have knowledge is fine. They don't have information is fine. They're afraid of the public, or they have a problem with public speaking is all fine. But generally, there is this beautiful theory called 5 dysfunctions of a team. A beautiful scientist, behavior scientist, a coach called Patrick Lencioni formulated this. After researching about thousands of CEOs in Fortune 500 management teams, he did his work, and he presented this theory called 5 dysfunctions of a team, which means what are the 5 reasons where teams fall apart. In that theory, he says, people fear conflict when there is no trust. I think Avina said this answer. So people, when they do not trust each other inside a team, they do not usually like disagreeing. So that leads me to the next question. What happens when there is no disagreement? Yes, one of you said there won't be any ideas. What are the other dangers of no disagreement? What are the other dangers of no disagreement?
We can't go in detail.
Okay. Any more answers?
Things might not reach the target.
Might not reach the target. Yes, you have come very close to the right answer. There's no one right answer as such, though.
Yep, yes.
So, well, in the same theory, 5 dysfunctions of a team, the same person, Patrick Lencioni, said that when there is no active disagreement inside a team, people are not committed to their tasks. And as a result, they're not accountable. And hence, there will be no attention to results. So when there is no disagreement, people are not committed. That's what he says. I can explain this. For example, I'm saying A. Somebody else in my team is saying B. Somehow, against my wishes, the entire team has zeroed in on B. They have not given me an opportunity to speak up, or maybe I have withheld my argument. So I didn't disagree. So now the collective decision is B, whereas my choice is A. Will I feel like going ahead with B? Obviously not, because I think there is some problem with B. And hence, I won't commit. Anyway, this one is going to fail. Anyway, there's going to be backlash. Anyway, there's going to be some kind of hurdles. So I don't think this is the right way. I'll just do it for the heck of it. So I'm not committed. As a result, I'm not accountable. As a result, if it fails, I don't bother. If it is a success, I don't bother. I'm somehow working only for the heck of a payslip. So that is how lack of trust leads to fear of conflict, and fear of conflict will make the team fall apart. That's the whole theory all about. And what is the ultimate result of zero conflict? I just said that team is going to fall apart when there is no conflict. For example, inside a team, like we already said, there is no trust, so there is no conflict. In a one-on-one with the leader, with the manager, with the supervisor, if people are not disagreeing, it means they are just bored to the hell of the work that they're doing, or they're scared to death. It's either they're scared or they're bored. Yes or no?
Correct.
So that's why people don't disagree. And now, after listening to so much, after seeing, knowing so much, what do you think about conflict? Is conflict good or bad?
Good.
Lovely. Right. So there's this popular ad which says Maraka Manchide. In Hindi, it is Daag Achhe Hai. So Maraka Manchide. We can have conflict. In fact, I think today we have only Telugu speakers, so I can just say, I need not say Daag Achhe Hai. I'm not that great in Hindi anyway. Anyway, so yes, conflict is absolutely necessary and it is inherent. There's no way by which we can do without a conflict. And this one was on a funnier note. On a clever note, on a wise note, we have to listen to Ronald Reagan, one of the most popular presidents of the US. He says this: it's the ability to handle conflict by peaceful means. So that is when a leader can lead his team and the entire team can be at peace, right? So now that we all came to a standpoint where we believe that conflict is good, that takes me to the next question then. How much conflict is good? If conflict is totally good, we wouldn't be doing this session today. So how much conflict is good?
So it should not hurt the feelings. If it is going that way, definitely we need to stop.
Right.
So that is one.
Nice. It should not go to a level where you hurt people. Awesome. I'm taking one more response.
Yeah, it should not go to the level where it compromises everything.
Okay, where it compromises on everything, right?
Team should not fall apart because of the conflict.
Team should not fall apart. Beautiful. That's very important. There's one thing which I'm looking for.
I think dysfunction is the same, right? Whatever Sunil said.
Yes. Yes. I think a conflict should not go to a level where it is actually hindering the process of achieving the organization's goals. Yes or no?
Yeah, Madhuri.
Yes. Lovely. So there's this beautiful graph. I'm not mathematical at all, but this graph somehow, grabbed my attention as I was, doing content for this session. So this is beautiful. If it is low, it says the performance will be affected. If it is high, also the performance will be affected. We have seen how low conflict affects performance. Now the graph also says high conflict affects the performance. So there's something called optimum level of conflict, which is showing high performance, the highest performance ever. So yeah, let's go and see what this optimum level of conflict looks like. Before that, I think there's a different slide. I think, yes. So since low conflict is also leading to poor performance, it's our responsibility to maybe breed that healthy conflict, for which there are a few ways. So now I have a question for all of you. What do your teams look like? Do they come and actively disagree, actively, contribute their opinions, or is it silence? What is your idea with the team conflict?
Team will contribute, especially in my team. If there is any disagreement, they will come forward and let everyone know, so that it will lead to another discussion.
Right. Very nice.
I'm not going to say that when you are there.
If you want me to,
Avina, I doubt it. So whatever Sunil said is correct, or is it just
there is
telling?
No conflict, right, Rajesh, in our team?
Yeah.
No conflict. Very nice. If you want me to stop recording, I can still do that. We can all be candid and happy. This recording thing is a dangerous thing, huh? Anyway, that's just on a fun side. Nobody is anyway going to access our recordings. These are all
even they access, it will be good only.
It will be good.
They will know the fact.
Yes, lovely, Sarkam. Avina was saying something.
It's like depending on the situations, like most of the times it's below optimum level is what I see. But I mean, I work with different teams basically. Rajesh might be just speaking in terms of crew, but I also work with other teams. Yes, there are situations where there is optimum level of conflict in those teams.
Right. Nice to know that. There are different levels of conflict. And like you all said, it differs depending on the situation.
Conflict could be like in our cases, right? It is really, we don't realize that it is a kind of conflict, but we feel people start sharing their ideas. So
Right.
if we call ideas thoughts as a conflict, then yes. So those are the things which we, I mean,
Yes.
kind of there is no disagreement. So they say that we can also do in this way,
Lovely.
and we can add some elements to this.
Awesome.
So that is how it goes in our regular discussions.
Lovely. That's it. That is conflict. Just feeling free to put out your opinion. That is a quality, a characteristic of healthy conflict. So if at all you think there is, less conflict, how do you think we all can breed that healthy conflict? How can we encourage people to come up with differing ideas and opinions? It's okay. As a leader, how can you just make them do that? It's okay. Come up with differing ideas. We're taking everything. We want your, intelligence to contribute to the team. How can you do that?
We'll always ask for opinions, Madhuri. It's not
Awesome.
like we, impose only our ideas or someone ideas on the team. It's always we are welcoming ideas from the entire team, and whatever best approach we think is, whatever idea is best, we'll implement that.
Awesome.
Yep.
I really
So
love
there is
that.
one classic example, Madhuri. So in on-site offshore model, how it happens is we observe the requirements and whatever we have to do on a daily basis, and we omit it to the team at offshore. So when we
Right.
ask them to do some task, what they will do is usually they will go ahead and do the task, but essentially they will not have complete understanding on it. What happens is they will not give the correct output, right output. So at times it's a problem, and that's when we suggest them to ask for the clarifications, or ask if any task is given to you. If you are not understanding it correctly, you'll not give correct output.
Awesome.
So always we suggest them to ask questions.
Lovely. Lovely. Two things I think I'd like to just,
Understood.
yeah. Is somebody speaking something? Okay, no. Avina said, we ask people to tell. I think nothing better than that. When you go around asking, I think a lot of people will come and respond. And the second answer was also lovely. We ask if they need something. We ask if they need our intervention, or if they need something to, get the work going. Both are great. And let me quickly add from whatever is there on the slide, build trust in the team. Very easy. I've just typed those beautiful letters and put it on a slide. Is it that easy? How can you actually build trust? What are your ideas?
It comes over the time, Madhuri. It's not one or two instances.
Awesome. It comes over time. And there's this
being transparent.
Awesome.
I think everything what we have discussed from this session one, either it may be the empathy, the ways of communication, and the ways of leadership.
Lovely.
Everything plays a role.
Plays a role. Lovely, lovely. So here I think I'll also maybe add a little more upon the transparency part. Transparency specifically when it comes to, let's say, vulnerability. What I mean by vulnerability is, as leader, as the person who's leading, or as a person, as the first person of the team, I think it's also okay to just go and say, hey, I got that wrong. Are we going in the right way, guys? Don't you see something coming? Do you want to tell me something? You just go out there and show your vulnerability, and that is how you just show transparency. Guys, I know there is lack of this resource, but what do you think are some ways to be resourceful in this situation? So showing that vulnerability will also tell people that, okay, yes, people are in reality. People are not just flying away in fancy. People are there in reality. So we can still go and tell. That is one style of building trust. And I think the shutting people down comes from my experience. When some proactive people come forward and try, sharing their ideas, there are some people who simply shut them down. We're doing it this way, let's do it this way, it'll all be fine. That thing is what actually damages the morale of a lot of people who want to actually actively contribute. These two things, if we take care of, I think trust breeds, like Avina said, over time. It's not something that happens overnight. And every time there's a failure, Every time there's a failure, I know, I understand it's important to call out. It's important to call out people. It's important to tell them that, you know, something led to failure. But also more than that, it's nice to document what is that lesson that we have learned out of that failure. What is this failure teaching us? So we don't want to do this thing again, or so we want to do it in a different way. That lesson has to be clearly sent out to everybody in the team. So this is how we can try and build a healthy conflict, breed a healthy conflict. Asking questions and asking if they need resources is also great. So now, don't you all want to understand if your team trusts you? There's a little quick test for that. How do you know that your team trusts you and they're comfortable with you?
Acknowledgements.
Okay.
So if they come up, if we are reachable person for everything, then we can treat that team is trusting us.
Awesome. You've come closer. Avina was saying
they are
something.
Approachable, yeah, that is one thing, and they're sharing whatever
Awesome.
Problems they are facing. That is what we think, but still, I still have doubts whether that level of trust is enough, or are we doing good on that part or not?
Yeah, that is actually good. If you think your teammates are smiling and greeting, that's the first thing. And second thing, if they're coming over and talking to you. And third thing, if they're disagreeing with you. If there is disagreement, active disagreement with you in one-on-one meetings and also in group meetings, then you can just happily tell yourself, oh my God, there's great amount of trust in my team, I'm happy. And you can go to bed happily every day. That is the single best test to test the level of trust inside your team. So yes, you tell yourself whether there's trust or not now. Yes, going forward.
And also, I think if we let's say we are working in a project and the project is going in a right direction and we are getting good responses from the leadership. So then also I think people will feel, okay, we are in right leadership.
Definitely, definitely. Numbers matter a lot. Numbers speak a lot. What you said is absolutely fine. It all depends on how productive we are and how results are churning out. And optimum level of conflict is that place where people disagree, not just for the heck of disagreeing, but they're discovering novel ideas of implementing some tasks. And people think differently, yes, in a constructive fashion. As a result, new solutions are developed for the same problems. Also, like you all said, productivity is great and goals are also achieved. Not just achieved, but the resources are also utilized optimally. That is a place where we call as optimum level of conflict. And that is a place where that little point on the graph showed, the largest productivity, greatest performance, highest performance. So now let's have a quick look at what are the types of conflicts, right? So there is this thing called task conflict, relationship conflict, and value conflict. Not very important. Task conflict is, when somebody wants to do something and somebody else is doing something, they have a problem with what they do and how they're doing it. It's all about task. What is the data? Is everything fine? What am I doing? What is he doing? Or why is she doing this? Why am I not doing that? This is task conflict. Relationship conflict is, you all know this, when, you all are different people and you all don't get along. When you think it's very difficult for you to work with a certain kind of a person because of his beliefs or because of his working style, or it could also be because of that thing called, I don't like something about this person. You don't even know the reason. That is a relationship conflict. And value conflict, yes, you have a different set of values, whereas the opposite people, they have a different set of values. It could be because of your background, your upbringing, your political beliefs, your spiritual beliefs, whatever. All of this is a value conflict. These are the broad categories of conflicts. This is not important because a conflict is a conflict. A conflict is anyways a conflict. Out of all these three, what do you think is the most difficult conflict when it comes to business?
I think it's a task conflict.
Task conflict. Yes, yes.
I can add one more conflict as well. Time
Please.
conflict.
Sorry?
Time conflict.
Time
You generally
conflict, yeah. That is also inside task conflict only. That's a subset of task conflict. Please explain. I'd love to listen from you.
Yeah, basically we expect to deliver something on a specific amount of time.
Yeah.
When we tend to give to the offshore, that will be a different case altogether.
Right.
And yeah, we end up in explaining everything to everyone again. So
Right. Right. I understand that. Time conflict, I also think, is one of the biggest conflicts. Anyway, going forward, now that we have seen all about conflicts, the types and all, I'm going to show you all a quick video, right, which is going to tell us some powerful lessons about conflict management. As we are watching the video and after finishing the video, I have a few questions to ask you. So please watch this video. I'll try changing my screen, but my laptop is actually a little not very cooperative with me. So I might have to reshare also. Lucky me. Okay, you're able to see this one?
Yeah.
The
Yes.
video screen?
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm going to play this one. And like I said, we have a couple of questions through the video and after the video. Okay, I have a question now. What do you think is going to happen? Same scene repeat, or do you think they're going to find a solution?
They are going to
Same
find a
scene repeat.
solution.
Okay.
No, they are going to find a solution.
Okay. Mixed response. Okay, let's see. Let's see.
Wonderful.
Lovely. So yes, I'd like to hear from all of you. What are the powerful lessons we have learned from this lovely, lovely little video? Thank you, Disney, for making our childhoods wonderful and for making this session wonderful. Yes, I'd like to listen. What are the powerful lessons?
Yeah, first of all, if there is a conflict, we should have discussed and find the better solution instead of fighting. So that's lead into both of them into the trouble.
Okay.
You
Yes.
have to
And,
think in a smart way and overcome that situation.
Yeah. When that little thing was bending, no, I remember this popular dialogue from Attarintikki Dariyati. What is that? There's one last dialogue that this guy says.
ఎక్కడ నెగ్గాలో కాదు అక్కడ పైతాలి.
Beautiful. I just hope everybody understands Telugu. So I'm just saying this. Ekkada neggalo kaadu, ekkada taggalo telusinodu goppodu, something of that kind. Anyway, I just got that on my mind when I was watching the video. So I had to just share it. Anyway, what are the other lessons?
So our conflict should not give a chance for others to enter and make, so it should not give a chance for others to, so if our conflict doesn't going to resolve, so then we are giving a chance to third party.
Third party,
So
yes.
they will take the advantage of it.
Yeah. And also, what is that something we learned about emotions? You have to keep a, sorry?
Yeah, there is nothing wrong to just back out in case of conflict.
Yeah.
Getting worse.
These two big things, they had a lot of anger and they showed all the
Right.
anger towards those little things. And what happened in return? Yes, emotions are a dangerous thing and it's very important to keep a watch on the emotions. Yes, what else? What are the learnings? Yes. Keep a careful watch on the emotions, first thing. And focus on the perspective, on the situation, not on the person. If you see in this video, the entire focus was on the person. Will you go? I will not go. So, and the next one, this is very, very important. As we approach a conflict, it's good to have positive intent. When I say positive intent, I mean, you have to have a mindset where you think you're going for a healthy discussion, not a heated debate. And your mindset should always focus on discussing future actions, not past mistakes. What have they done? How can I put the blame? How can I be out of the mess? No, we're just collaborating and maybe bringing out an action that will benefit the team as a whole. And all in all, we are in the hope of a positive outcome, not a negative one. That is a mindset, a little mindset shift that we might want to do as we approach a conflict. And like in the video, it's important to be willing to budge, to maybe willing to listen. No, mending ways comes much later, but willing to listen to somebody else's perspective and discussing actions and looking at their ideas. All of that is also important as we approach conflict. And all in all, more important, the most important, focus is on the goal. The entire focus of every other head is on the goal, not on anything else, not on blame, not on mistakes, and not on the person, more importantly. Beautiful. That said, I'd like to bring you all to this one. I hope you have already seen these conflict resolution styles in the negotiation session. So it's the same thing. This is called as Thomas Kilmann conflict mode instrument, which is a very popular model in the conflict resolution domain. Anybody and everybody, I think, follow the same model. So I'm personally not a big fan of models, but yes, this one makes a lot of sense. So yes, we all know all these 5, but I'll just give a quick recap. Avoiding is just letting the problem stay, letting the conflict stay. Okay, let me avoid, let me take care of it tomorrow, let me talk about it later, or let somebody else come and do this. That is avoiding. You do not somehow like touching the problem. Accommodating, okay, I give in. I will take care of the others' needs. I will accommodate them. I will keep quiet. I will listen. So you just are interested in accommodating others. Out of fear, it could be. Maybe if they say something else, the organization goals might tamper and all of that. Or you are just somebody who likes friendships. Oh, I want to be a nice friend to them. I want to just make them feel nice. I have no problem in giving up on my ideas. That kind of a thing is accommodating. Competing, me and my way. I have to win this argument at any cost. Otherwise, oh, what will people think of me? I can't be a loser. So that is competing attitude. And finally, compromising, the most popular, and people also think compromising is a great style of resolving. Now you can ask me a question. Oh yes, why not? Why not compromising? Why is it not a great style of compromising? What is the big con, I would say? There are pros and cons for every conflict resolution style. So what do you think is the biggest con of compromising? Any answers?
People might take other person granted.
Okay.
Dissatisfaction.
Dissatisfaction, okay.
And our ideas might get suppressed.
Sometimes, yes. Yeah. Both the parties are giving up on something.
Sacrifice.
Sacrifice. Yes. When we are willing to compromise, we are stopping our brains from thinking, oh, we'll go and compromise. There's nothing wrong in compromising. So our brains stop functioning and we are not in the quest for new ideas. We are not trying to bring up a creative or an ideal solution to a problem that is existing. We are only going and saying, okay, compromise, compromise, handshake, handshake. That I think is the biggest danger of this mindset where we want to compromise all the time. And that leads me to the last one, the most effective one, according to the graph, collaborating. Collaborating is where people are assertive. It's both high on cooperative and assertive, meaning you are willing to listen. You are also willing to voice out. Collaborating, I think, is also the best one because it focuses more on solving the problem rather than simply resolving the conflict without actually bringing out a potential solution to a problem. So that's the thing with collaborating. We have already seen all of these ways, and we have also taken an assessment before this session. But before that, I'll take you all to a poll. Now that we have seen 5 styles, right, briefly. So I'll request you all to just poll and tell me what is your most common style of conflict resolution, right? I'll take you there, just a minute. I'll give you the link so you can, just a second. After this, I think I'll request Syed to present the results of the assessment that you have taken.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks, Syed. Okay, I have given this one on the chat box. Okay, as usual, my laptop is not friends with me, so I'll stop sharing, then share again. The link is on the chat box. You go here, please, and what you can do is you can select any 2 that you think are your most common styles of conflict resolution. You can select any 2 options out of the 5. I hope all of you all have responded. Okay. Accommodate, my God. Compromise, superb. Compete, wow. And for your information, I do not know who has voted for what. So you can all be candid. Lovely. I avoid, lovely, lovely. And the thing, collaborate is on the high rise. Huh? So meaning you all have selected one other option and one collaborate. Lovely. Thank you so much. I just hope everybody has voted. So yeah, we have a lot of collaborators. Now, this is what you think you are, but your test results might say something else, for which I think Syed has to take it up. Over to you, Syed. Please explain us how we can check our scores and what our scores mean.
Absolutely. So just a second, my laptop is still connecting.
Please, yeah.
I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, you're audible. You're audible.
Okay, great. So if we go back to our assessment, if we can open our assessment and scroll to the right hand side, okay, to the column Z, you will find something of a management style. Some preferred style you will find. Okay, there will be few names of certain animals. Do you find that, everyone?
Yes, Ed.
Okay, great. So here, if you are high on your score of owl, okay, if the first one is owl, basically that is what exactly is a kind of an animal which is an owl? What do you think it is? Any thoughts?
Observation and calm.
Observation,
Stay
yes.
focused.
Patient, observes. Okay, so yes. So owl here
Focus.
kind of focuses, basically it sees conflicts as a means of improving relationships. So owls are very intelligent, and this particular animal represents collaborating style, which is the highest form of the conflict management style. So owls basically, they highly value their goals and their relationships. That is how we can see them. The personality, if someone is having high score on this, it means that we are someone who want to solve a problem. We are someone who like to believe that okay, it's possible to solve a problem. And conflicts can also be seen as a means of improving relationships between two people. It's an opportunity to improve relationship. That's how owl sees a particular conflict. Then there are turtle, a kind of personality which is turtle basically. So any thoughts? How can we interpret this particular animal style? Calm, okay.
Soft.
Sorry?
Soft in nature.
Okay. Yes, absolutely. So here, this particular animal represents the avoiding style. Turtles tend to avoid confrontation. They go back into their shell, their comfort zone. They do not want to get into arguments. They do not want to face rather difficult situations. And they even completely give up on relationships or goals when they see a conflict. They say, okay, let me not get into it. Okay, they will forget the relationships or goals. They will completely withdraw from a conflict rather than facing it. I hope you're getting my point.
Yeah.
Any thoughts? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So the next particular animal that you see there, it's shark, right?
Yeah.
So what are sharks good at, or how can you interpret this particular animal?
Competing style.
Attack and competing.
Yes. So sharks typically value their goals over relationships, and meaning that if forced to choose, they would seek to achieve their goals even at the cost of relationships. So sharks are very competing. They're typically more concerned with accomplishing their goals than being liked by others. And sometimes they are very forceful. They want others to listen to them, and they want to be overpowering them. So that is the kind of style which is the competing style. Then there is bear. Any thoughts? How can we see bears? In what style it represents, maybe?
Is it compromise?
Okay. So bear, actually, it's not that bear that you see in this Animal Planet or channels. This is a teddy bear. Now, what do you think? It's a teddy bear. It's a soft toy. That kind of a bear.
It accommodates, I believe.
It accommodates, absolutely, yes. So teddy bear typically values relationships over their own goals. They are accommodating. When they are forced, they quickly tend to sacrifice. They say that, okay, I lose, you win. And teddy bears try to smooth over conflict to prevent damage to a relationship. They completely forget about their goals. So that is the teddy bear style, which is the accommodating style. And finally, there is fox. Any thoughts what the style could be? What is left?
Intelligent.
Compromising is left.
Compromising is left, yes. So foxes are moderately concerned. They're like not very into the goals or into the relationship. They try to seek a compromise. They want both. They give up part of their goals and try to persuade the person to in a conflict. And it's like they sacrifice something and they want others to sacrifice. They do not just give up. They want others to also listen to them, and they want them to follow what they're saying. So foxes are slightly different minded. Okay, so they seek a conflict solution in which both sides gain something or lose something. So there is some middle ground where they have to meet. So fox mentality is like that. So they are willing to sacrifice a part of their goals in order to find agreement for the common good. So that is the compromising style. I hope this helps us understand what is our dominant conflict handling style, conflict resolution style. Okay.
Syed, if like we are getting the same score on the two styles. In that case.
Yes, it's quite possible that we have a multi-style thing that we use. Okay, there could be combination of two different styles that we are we prefer more to use, and that is the reason you will sometimes get very close scores on some of the styles. So it means that depends on the situation, you will be choosing either this one or that one. So but that is your more dominant part. That is what you will prefer to choose when when you're faced with a conflict. Okay. Yes. All right. So there are pros and cons to each and every style, and depends on the situation also. Our styles might change. Okay, but these are something which people will just go and prefer them. They are something that are inbuilt. It's very difficult to change them. So our character, our way of thinking, our way of management, it doesn't change so quickly. It is something that has been built over the years. So it's important that we pick the right style, because it's very different. The older you get, it becomes difficult for people to actually change what they are habituated with. So if we are having something of a style which is damaging us, our own career or our own mindset, if it's not linked to a growth mindset, okay, so we have to start working on our styles. We have to start assuming a position which is beneficial to us, assuming a style which is helpful to us. So this was the idea behind the assessment. I hope that's clear.
Yes,
any
sir.
questions, any thoughts? Okay, so over to you, Madhuri.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. And just a little bit more to add to Avina's question. When you think you have scored good on two different styles, I think like Syed rightly said, it's possible that we have two different styles depending on the situations. And it's also quite possible that we use multiple styles inside one conflict. It's actually possible. There are bits of conflict which we choose to avoid, but on the other bit, we want to collaborate. There are bits of conflict where we are willing to compromise, but on the other bit, we want to compete. It's like that. It's all a mix and match thing. And there are definitely pros and cons to each of these conflict resolution styles. The model as such does not promote anything, any one style as ideal for all situations. There's no silver bullet. It's all depending on your experience, depending on your requirement. It's wise to use whatever comes of way. But I think it's always nice to collaborate, because that is where you are both assertive and cooperative. You're willing to listen and you're also willing to voice out. That is where people actively think, and also people bring out new solutions. That's how somehow there is a little soft spot for collaborating, at least with the behavioral trainers. Anyway, coming back, so yes, to understand the recipe, or the content of a conflict, this is how it looks like. Are you able to see this one, my slide?
Yeah, we can see.
Yeah. So the visible part, it's like the tip of an iceberg. The visible conflict is very less. What are the contents of the invisible part? Are you able to see this little triangle?
Yes.
Yes, yes. So the visible part is only behavior. You either see people getting sarcastic, or people showing non-verbal abuse, or even verbal abuse, maybe arguments, all of that. But there is underlying the actual iceberg, which is built on the foundation of attitude and context. So for every, we want to find out what is the ideal style of resolution, right? So more than behavior, I think it's wise to focus on attitude and context. Let's keep the attitude positive. It's not distrust or hatred or anything else, but it has to be empathy and compassion. If our mind is sliding towards negative, bring the needle towards positive. Let me be empathetic with the opposite party. Let me find out. Let me be compassionate. Here, I think I'd want to recall words from the 7 habits of highly effective people, which says one of the habit is wanting to understand before wanting to be understood. That is one thing, one of the habits of highly effective people, as the author says, Stephen Covey. And the next one is context. Context meaning the history, the backdrop, the background. Usually the context is built on observations which emanate from gossip and personal interest. Something is like that, it seems. Something is like this, it seems. He comes from a different industry, it seems. I come from a different industry. I know I can't operate with him. All of this is a negative. It's just personal interest and gossip. Whereas it's nice to base it on facts and findings. What is the fact? What are the numbers? What is the finding? So it's nice to move from that negative inclination towards positive inclination, so as to convert your behavior from abuse to collaboration. That's just one tip of the iceberg. It's nice to, incline towards the positive side. This is the content. This is how conflict is made of. These are the 3 things conflict is made of. This is the ABC conflict triangle, whatever. So yes, there's a little bit of, I think I can happily skip, but yeah, I'll just go ahead with this one. Preparing yourself before going to conflict is important. I've put this picture of pen and paper because it's nice if we can jot them down. Thoughts will go away, but when you actually have a map of your thoughts, it'll be really nice. What is the problem? What is the cause? And what works for me? How much am I willing to budge? How much am I willing to give in? What will the others give in? What will others say okay for? What are my expectations out of this conflict? What will I tell the opposite party? How will I tell that? And then you can schedule a conversation. If you can map all these thoughts on a paper, it'll be really great. And this is how you can converse like a pro. You have to be confident. As you converse, it's important to show people that you are willing to collaborate and nothing else. You are willing to listen and you're willing to consider the ideas that are put forth. You can begin by talking about the ground rules, who's saying what, who's doing what, and then clarifying the actual problem. Because people more often than not do not look at the problem. They look at the symptoms of the problem. That's a session that's coming up tomorrow, problem solving. So I'll not talk more about it now. Then we can take turns and share the experiences. Here, I think I'll again quote Avina, who said, we will ask them. So here it's again important to ask the opposite people of their experiences, of their understanding. Ask questions, answer questions, and find ways to solve the problem. This is how a conversation can be, mapped. A conversation can be made. Awesome. Now that we have seen a lot of ideas about conflict resolution and all of that, this is a burning problem. If you want me to stop recording, I can stop recording, but I will request all of you all to just go on a discussion. All of you can freely contribute your opinions, your ideas, and we will follow all that we have seen till now. The styles of the styles of conflict resolution, first thing. And second thing, moving from negative inclination to positive. Yes. And also asking questions, considering ideas, giving way to listening opposite people's answers, all of this. You are all in one team and you're going to decide on this one. Can we have this?
Madhuri, I have a question here.
Yes, please.
So it's our opinion we have to put up right here, like whether I want to work from home or I want to work from office, and I need to convince others, or it's other people like my team who, what should I decide for my team?
Okay, I'll tell you the question once again. All of you all are in one team, right? And all of you all have to come back to the HR department and give the opinion. It could be anything. Who wants to work from home? Who wants to go for hybrid? Who wants to work from office? Or all of you want to just do one thing, whatever works for you and how you want to plan it. There are no absolute rules. The whole idea is how you're going to discuss, how you're going to lead the conflict towards productivity and not towards anything else. It's not about you. It's always about the team.
Okay.
But here, I don't think we have big discussion here, right?
Yeah,
Just
no
everyone
discussion
choose
here.
the work from home. That's it.
Yes, and there is something called organizational goals. That is a catch.
But we
But
don't
this
care,
is
right?
purely,
That's HR should take care. But as an employee,
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
we
I
are
want-
worrying about our work. That's it. Then
Awesome.
HR and other people should think about
that
those
is
all
what.
things.
Exactly. You do not care is a great answer, but you also have to tell us why you do not care. You can just come back, consider me to be your HR for today. Oh my God. Anyway,
So,
you can just come and tell us.
As a HR, what is your problem if I do work from home?
But the discussion is not with the HR. HR is not willing to come into your discussion. HR is outside. One spokesperson will come and tell us.
So I would like to put my opinion forward. I think it's Shiva or Sunil, you mentioned work from home is an option, right?
Yeah.
So personally, even I'm interested in work from home because of the flexibility it has. We can manage home and work together. But if we consider our entire team, since our entire team has to, work from home, if we decide on this, I think not everybody as productive as somebody else in the team, right? If they're working from home, they might be taking advantages as well. So in that case, I think being in a hybrid model will at least cater to at the same time working from home and also taking the correct status or guiding the team when we are in the office.
Okay. The rest of you?
Yeah, but personally, I feel that work from home is a very good option.
Very nice. Yes, the rest of you, please contribute to Avina's say.
Yeah, first one we will go with, okay. So, however, there is a few situations, like if you consider my case, I have to go office based on my work nature. I cannot avoid, I must go to the office. That is what I am doing since pandemic started. Okay, so it's a case by case based on the project. If there is no office dependency, we can go with work from home because it saves traveling time as well. That anyhow we have to work additional hours for the project. Okay, on top of that, traveling another headache. Okay, with the work from home flexibility, whatever we have to do, that job we are doing.
Right.
Because of one person not doing the right thing or becoming lazy, others coming to the office, that might be some kind of conflict.
Dispute.
Yeah.
So to Vijay, to answer you, in my opinion, yes, work from home has its own advantages. I already mentioned, even I'm interested in that. And the collaboration, I think we can collaborate more if we are in the hybrid model, and knowing the team better, it is not maybe as that much effective in work from home, because we just do our work and only contact whenever there is a need. No, we might miss that part when we are working from.
Agree with Avina. So recently, most of the team members who joined in last 1 year or so, they don't even know the team. Just they're working on the call with the team. They don't have the connect. So that connection is missing. When we are sitting at the desk and working together as a team, we will have a different kind of environment, and talking over calls daily, working remotely will have a different feel.
So, and also one more point, right? I mean, it's the same thing, right? So when we were in office continuously for so many years, so we always used to have a thought like, so why can't I work from home today for one day at least in a week?
At least, yep.
But now we are in a situation on the other side of the coin, like we are completely working on home. For sure, there would be a situation tomorrow. So I'm only seeing my family. I mean, it's not like we should not see them, and we are enjoying the lunch, everything with them, and we are spending time with the whenever we don't have calls or when there is no important task. So we are definitely spending time with family and kids. So at the same time, as Avinash said, so collaboration is more important, and also we if we come out of that house boredom style, so at least we can refresh ourselves when we talk. We'll again be in the same space of, okay, we used to enjoy in office, we used to go out for lunch, we used to go out for a chit chat. So that will not be missed, and we'll also energize ourselves, and productivity will be kind of it will always stands high. So when we go with hybrid model, so I would choose choose hybrid model if given a chance, at least
Okay.
1 day in a week or 2 days in a month. It's not like mandatory that we need to go for 3 days or 4 days in a week. Yeah, 1 or 2 days in a month is also fine, where we agree with all the team members that everyone is going to come.
Lovely. Now, in the interest of time, I'll want to maybe wrap this discussion, but not before coming to the final answer. You'll all have, as a team, you'll all have to write this mail to the HR and facilities department, because they have to take care of all the setup inside the office, the other amenities and all of that. So what is your final say? Let's say the team is 8, right? Yeah, minus me, minus
Just checking
Sai.
with you, you're not checking with us in a real time, right?
No.
Yeah. Even though if it is real time, then that is not a problem, right?
Yeah, actually,
People are telling their own opinions. And another thing here, hybrid model, again, you have to define the number of days working. Otherwise, if you say hybrid model, 4 days you have to come.
Yes.
Then again, the whatever we are thinking hybrid model, then each one going to change their decision, right? That hybrid model, number of days also need to be counted.
Yes. So ultimately, after a long conflict, we have not arrived at a solution.
Some person has to take the call, like ask everyone. If I'm here, I'm asking everyone, is everyone agreeing on hybrid model? Or anyone has any conflicts on that? if there is no response, I would assume it as hybrid model and confirm HR with the hybrid model.
Lovely, lovely. That is how most decisions are made, Avina. You are actually doing the same thing what a lot of people would do. The whole thing is the interest of time. There is this word called in the interest of time, in the best interest of time. So whatever you're doing is just the perfect thing. When people are not responding, when people are not willing to disagree or willing to contribute, what else we can do? Am I making a point? That is how a lot of decisions are made. We don't hear from people and we assume it as a yes or we assume it as a no. That's the whole idea of conflict resolution. Yeah, somebody was saying something as I was talking.
Yeah, with the interest of time, actually, we should give some time to answer also as well.
Lovely. I can understand. Yes. The time is, the clock is ticking. It does not wait for us. So yes, let me conclude here. In any other conflict for that matter, like Avina said, I really loved that idea. Go around and ask them what their interest is and then come back and you can make a decision. If you think one of you was answering all the questions, I think it was Sarkam who was saying how you're able to meet the organizational goals being at home, how it is saving on the fuel cost, how it is saving on the travel time, how it is increasing the amount of time you spend with your family, all of that, mentioning benefits and asking for what the opposite party is losing out on, and then coming in making a final call. That is, all of this should happen inside any conflict the same way it happened in this discussion. And disclaimer, this is not a real-time discussion. Please chill, relax. Going forward, thank you so much for your active participation, and we have a lot to see. Conflict we have seen. If we do not resolve conflict in the right time, there's something, the favorite buzzword of IT industry. What is that? Escalation.
Yeah.
So when the conflict escalates, we can't do anything. We have seen a lot of models, collaborate, yay, whoa, compromise, compete, all of that. But everything will work only until one point where this red dot is shown, where it is slightly coming out as a conflict. And we came to, debate, maybe to kind of express our opinions and ask what opposite people are thinking and all of that. And we are still willing to do the action required to solve the conflict. And we are still not getting into a verbal abuse stage. We are still not getting into a negative, creating a negative mind image and all of that. So until that point, we can still try for win-win. We can still try for collaborating, beyond which we can really not try for a win-win. Collaboration becomes very difficult when all the parties involved inside the conflict are negatively inclined, right? And that further escalates into total damage. That is lose-lose. So it's our responsibility to make sure that we don't let the conflict escalate. We are always willing to understand people, and we are always also ready to barge in and resolve conflict. That takes me to this quick case. I'll read this out to all of you. I should have, or I would have elaborated a little bit on escalation, but yeah, again, the interest of time. Let me read this short case to you all. Jenny, some random Jenny, is a high-performing employee who is known to be a great team player. You are her manager, right? So she's not been on great terms with Leonardo. He joined about 8 months ago. They have always been at loggerheads with each other because of their differing belief systems, and they work in different ways. They could not get well along with each other. That's the context. And Jenny's close proximity with you, or maybe Jenny's known you for a long time, so she doesn't mind calling up and asking you, for things, for help and all. So as usual, she called you up one morning, and she started lodging a couple of complaints about that guy, poor guy. She comes over and actually requests you, please intervene. This is becoming problematic day by day. So now you are in the shoes of a leader. What would you do? You are not a part of the conflict anymore. You are somebody outside. You are asked to intervene. So what would you immediately do?
Listen to both of them actually. I mean, we have to understand Jenny's and Leonardo's perspective.
Okay, so meaning you will connect with Jenny and you will also connect with Leonardo separately and listen to what each of them has to say.
Yeah.
Right? More responses, please. Any more responses? Not at all. So here, I think I'll maybe want to ask Avina a couple of more questions. Was it Avina who answered? Yes, it was Avina.
Yeah.
So yes, here Leonardo has not come to you talking about the conflict. So why would we call him? Are we actually complicating it?
Yeah, but if that is a real concern, what Jenny had, like if she says no, he's not helping her in some point of situation, then what was the problem from his end, or what was the case? Actually, why was it? I mean, what was the reason he not helping her?
Right.
Maybe we need to understand that, right?
From his side also, you mean to say. Right.
I understand here the complaint is from one end, but how do we resolve that her problem without discussing his perspective? Knowing his perspective.
Yes, I get your point. I get your point thoroughly. Let's go forward and see what will be nice to do and what we need not actually do. So yes, in this case, I have one more question. So there's a lot of discomfort inside the team. Two people are not getting well along with each other, and unfortunately, they're all close associates working very closely. So why has the thing not reached the leader? Was the leader unaware? Was he or she blind to the happening? What would leaders have done instead?
Yeah, in this case, I would relate to your earlier slide where we might have resolved this before it has reached this point by collaborating, having some meetings together with the team.
Awesome.
Talking to each other, asking for everyone's opinion in the meetings.
Yes.
Yeah, having the reviews, the performance reviews are in. Meeting with the team members will help.
So when two people are not getting along well with each other, how does the environment inside a meeting look like when both of them are on the meeting?
It depends on their style, right, Madhuri? If they are no competing style, they would definitely fight.
Compete with each other, lovely.
They'll compete with each other, and we can make sure that the environment is cool by addressing their concerns.
Super.
But if they are silent and not speaking,
silence.
It's very hard to know if they are just avoiding each other.
Lovely. So when the meeting is silent, don't you all smell something fishy?
But it's just only two members, right? Rest of the team, if they're speaking, definitely we'll ask why they're not opening up.
Super. That's where I was leading my talk to. It's like a hawk, like an eagle. It's nice to just find the prey. The eagle flies high above and it still finds the prey on the ground, right? Same style. It's good to be all eyes and all ears, meaning with open eyes and open ears, all of us have to understand those little verbal and non-verbal cues inside a meeting to understand whether things are all right. When you ask a question, I keep quiet, what does it mean?
Either you are not interested or
I have a problem with you.
Yeah, correct.
As simple as that. And when you're saying something, I'm just acknowledging. Yeah. Again, what does that mean? Come up with a better idea. There's a popular game all of us play in the training industry. What I say, what you hear. If I'm silent, what you hear. If I'm constantly saying yes, what do you hear? If I'm constantly talking, what do you hear? That's a very popular game, but for whatever reasons, I could not play it today. So it's nice to do that inside of your team. What are people saying? What do they actually mean? What does this non-verbal response mean? What does silence mean? It's nice to be on the lookout for the actual meaning, reading between the lines. That's what had to be done prior to this one, before this girl coming up and lodging a complaint. Very, very important. That leads me to the next one. Too soon or too late? When will leaders have to intervene? You know, people are in this attitude. I will not resolve this. Let me talk to my boss. It's her or his problem. They will come and they will solve the problem for me. Or, you know, people are like, both leaders and the team members, whoever it is, let's see, let's wait, you know, it'll subside, it'll eventually come down. It is anyway not bothering the business. So let us wait, let us be patient. So until someday entire thing breaks apart, we wait until that point. So both are dangerous. It's nice to be aware of what's happening. And it's also important to enable people to solve their problems for themselves. These days, if you see, the whole world is using a buzzword, autonomy, autonomous teams. There's this beautiful, I don't want to take names, but there's this beautiful big head on LinkedIn who says, leading an autonomous team. If that is an autonomous team, why would you lead? I was just laughing to myself. So yes, that was a quick joke. So yes, encouraging autonomy is a great idea. So in this case, I think more than talking to Leonardo, it is talking to Jenny that is more important. You can ask her questions, you know, what is causing the problem? And that is when you will understand what kind of a conflict it is, whether that conflict is a workplace conflict or otherwise. If Jenny does not like the way Leonardo dresses up, not a problem. If Jenny does not like the kind of asynchronous work that Leonardo is doing, not a problem. So there are ways to help her understand whether that is a real problem or not. Is that a real problem? If not, just chill. That is where we can help her. And as a leader, it's also nice to set expectations. What am I expecting out of your working together? What is the deadline that we're supposed to reach? What are the deliverables that are supposed to be over by so-and-so date? What is the kind of impression that we are trying to give the client? What is the kind of solution we want to give the client? All of that. Setting your expectations, your deadlines, your timelines, all of that is very important when you are asked to intervene. That is when you clarify to people what you're looking for. And the next thing, again, I'll take word from Avina's mouth. She said, we will look at what kind of people they are. Based on what kind of people they are, we can coach them. The duty of a coach primarily is to remind people of their strengths and to also keep them notified of where they can improve on. The first thing is encouraging them to use their strengths to the fullest. Followed by, you can just go back and ask, hey, hi, how is everything going? How is Leo? Is he doing fine? Is the work progressing? What happened? You had this thing last week, no? Or how does it look like now? So that is the last thing you will do. You will follow up and check the progress, but do not directly intervene. Pulling people into a meeting and becoming a pedaraidu there might actually not work. It's not a wise idea. It's nice to enable them to solve their conflicts for themselves. That is how you can build an autonomous team. Followed by, do we have anything else in the session today? We are already close to 10:30. All right. Yes, like we said, conflicts are inherent. I think Ravi was saying holding group meetings is important. And as you hold group meetings, it's also important to understand who is saying what and what are they actually meaning. Open door policy, meaning people can come over to you and ask you if they have something. And if you are going to deny or decline, you will have to give them the reasons why you're denying, why you're declining. And one-on-ones, yes, if you think that's your choice, it's great. It's nice to have one-on-ones regularly. And again, it's a choice-based thing. If you think that's not too necessary, given your project, not really. Here, I'd also like to, encourage or recommend all of you all to have those no agenda connects with your team. That is when you understand what people have for each other. Do they really like and enjoy being with each other? Or are these no agenda calls simply full of silence? If in a no agenda call, people are actively talking to each other, it means they don't have relationship problems. They're just fine with each other. That's how you can take it. And like always, encourage new ways of doing things. Do not shut people down when they come up with something innovative. If you can't accommodate it, you can just appreciate them. Oh yes, this looks like a brilliant idea, but we can't do it now because of budget, because of time, because of so and so hurdle. That's how you can deal with an out of the box thing. And yes, you can always get people trained on the needs, the requirements. I think I'm kind of marketing my team a little bit here. And always make the ground rules very transparent. Keep the ground rules clean for everybody so people are following them. This is how you can try and breed the healthy conflict and know if conflict is really brewing inside your team. So that is where I come to the end of today's session. Well, these are a few resources I'd like to present. Crucial Conversations. This is a very popular book on the web. I think here, this book talks about how you can actually converse to solve problems, converse to solve conflicts. Beautiful book. If you are a bibliophile, you can always go and pick up this book. And there's one popular movie, Indian movie, which talks about conflict resolution. Any idea? Indian movie. Amir Khan? Cricket?
Lagan.
Lovely, lovely. Lagan, I think, is one of the most beautiful movies about conflict resolution. I think all styles of conflict resolution is shown in this movie. Competing, collaborating, compromising, all of that very cleverly and in context. I'll tell you, you will be surprised if I say there was one research paper published on the conflict resolution styles in Lagan, the film. That is how beautifully conflict resolution has been shown in this film. If you have time over the weekend, you can just watch and find out what style was used and in what way. And the last one, there are a lot of TED Talks on conflict resolution, but this one somehow was practical. This one by Liz, this woman, elderly, wise woman, who said lovely things about how you can resolve conflicts and why there's a lot of conflict inside workplace and what you can actually do about it. What to ignore, what to pay heed to. That's the content. And the first comment actually caught my attention. So I have taken a screenshot along with the comment. So this person, whoever that is, says, oh my God, people are horrible. Conflicts are caused only because of people. Ever since I have been working from home because of pandemic, I am peaceful, I am happy. That is the comment she put up there. But I actually have a problem. Can you ever work alone, like without people? Is it practically possible?
No, Madhuri.
No, we can't. Conflict is inherent. And that is what this gentleman, the wise gentleman, rich gentleman said. Because we don't listen to lessons from poor philosophers, no? So yes, no matter how smart you are, you don't know, if you don't know how to work with people, your dreams will just be dreams. That's what he said. And the last saying, only if there is pressure, diamonds will be made. Otherwise, no. On that note, I end the conversation today. And yes, that was about conflict resolution. The coming up session is about problem solving, which is like a quick association with conflict resolution. Any questions for today?
No.
No, it was really good.
Okay. All right. So yes, 10:30 on dot. Anyway, thank you so much for your time this morning. I'll see you all in the next session about problem solving.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Have a nice day ahead.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Madhuri. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, Syed. Sorry?
Hi, Madhuri.
Acha.
You can stop the recording.
Stop, no? I didn't?
No,
You stopped.
it's recording.
Oh, it's recording. Okay.